All right, I'm going to go ahead and do this. I know the oil discussion goes on and on. There's a lot of opinions involved, but I thought I'd share some of the knowledge I've gained with some of the experience of working on chainsaws and using them and seeing how different oils perform certain ways. First off, I want to start with some of the confusion about flash points. There's been a few videos on the internet just recently, ironically, because I was planning to make this video for some time, that flash points have a direct relation to the film strength of the oil. This couldn't be any farther from the truth. The flash point, how they perform the test is, as far as I know it, they use it in a cup. They heat the oil up, the solvents evaporate, and then they flash over. The solvents ignite, not the oil itself. Just because oil has a lower flash point does not mean you're going to lose film strength. And you can see that with certain oils. Let's use Honda HP2 for an example. The flash point on that is only 228 degrees Fahrenheit. At 100C, the film strength is 17.67 CST. That's right up there with oils like Modal. It's actually a little higher. Modal's film strength is 15.5. Modal 800, by the way, Modal 800 off-road is 15.5 at 100C. Yet the flash point's 485 degrees Fahrenheit. That's a big difference. It has no relation to the oil's ability to lubricate under extreme pressures and heat. Let's talk about the differences between the more ester-based synthetics, polybutane. The advantage with polybutane, or a higher content of it, you don't have to rely on the base stocks alone for the film strength. Polybutane is a really thick polymer additive. Now, the reason that these particular oils with more polybutane have more solvents is to thin that out. But yet, because it's such a high quality additive, you maintain film strength. These ester oils have a lot less polybutane, although they do have some, particularly Maxima Formula K2. Now, there are different additives, add packs as they call them, multifunctional add packs. With two-cycle engine oils, you have to stay away from some of the additives they use in four-stroke oil, in particular zinc. The reason for that is zinc does not burn off at the temperatures these engines run, so you get a lot more ash buildup. However, zinc is a heck of a good anti-wear additive. With good polymer additives, you'll get the same amount of anti-wear properties without the ash buildup that you get from oils that contain zinc and other additives like that can't be burned off. These oils rely mostly on the base stocks for their film strength. They don't have near the same amount of polybutane, and of course they don't have much zinc at all. They just use an extremely high ester-based stock. That's why, generally speaking, these oils are considered the best for extreme applications, high RPMs, heat, and so on. But with everything, there's some drawbacks. These oils, because they have less solvents, less naphtha, they tend not to run quite as clean, even with the really high-end base stocks, as the thinner oils that have more solvents, which makes sense. These oils will probably never be JASO FD certified, because they simply don't burn quite clean enough. They do burn very clean now. It's not like the old orange bottle steel oil that was dirty, or the current Husqvarna semi-synthetic. That is a nasty oil. I've seen saws ran on that. It wasn't good. But it won't be as clean as the oils with more solvents. Let's go ahead and move on to what I use and why. I prefer kind of a little bit of both worlds here. I want something that's not super heavy in a chainsaw, because I've noticed with the super heavy oils like R50 Technoplates, you'll get a little more buildup in the exhaust. You're going to get a little more residue coming out the exhaust. They do burn fairly clean. You're not going to blow anything up, but in a chainsaw, these are overkill. They just don't get hot enough. So I picked Formula K2. I've had the best results with it. It's a little thinner than some of these two other oils, but it still provides excellent film strength. I believe the film strength, let's see, on that is 13.5 CST, and its flash point is 392 degrees Fahrenheit. So it doesn't have the highest flash point, but it still has one heck of a good shear strength. Now, let's talk a bit about other outdoor power equipment like Stihl's 4MIX engines. Their 4MIX engines are actually 4-cycle engines. They have valves and everything. They just don't really have a crankcase. Well, an oil sump, should I say, actually. They don't have an oil sump. So you still have to mix oil with the fuel. This is absolutely the best stuff to run in those 4MIX engines. For whatever reason, this stuff just runs better. I've ran different oils, thin oils like this. This has a lot of polybutane in it as well. I'm not sure what the flash point is. I didn't look it up. It's lower than, of course, Motul 800 or Klotz R50. But this runs better no matter how you tune, what fuel you use. This just works. It's almost like this oil was designed for use in those engines. Stihl says it was, but I'm pretty sure this is just Castrol synthetic 2-cycle oil with maybe a fuel stabilizer added to it. That's really about it. Don't focus on the flash point too much. It can have some relevance to film strength. These oils do have the highest flash point and they do have the highest film strength, but not by much. And in fact, I'll correct myself here. The HP2 has a higher film strength than the Motul 800. So it really has no relevance. I'm going to touch on castor a little bit. Castor oil, this is a castor synthetic mix. Castor has benefits over even esters. Oh, esters, one other benefit of esters. The molecules in ester synthetics are polar. They're attracted to metal. So it cleans the metal. So if you leave the engine sitting for a while, it still has oil on it. No dry startups, if you will. Also, the molecules are so small, they actually penetrate into the upper layers of the metal. Metal's not completely solid. It has pores. This oil has such low density, it can actually penetrate in the very, very top layer of metal. It's not much, but think about it. If you lose lubrication for whatever reason, you still have a little bit of extra insurance there. How much, I can't tell you, but it's something. Getting back to the castor. Castor oil, when it starts to reach its critical point, it actually polymerizes. It turns to a thick polymer. So you're not going to get scuffing. Okay, you're not going to get full seizure as easy. But the problem when something polymerizes, this actually, when it cools, it solidifies. So it leaves a lot of hard gunk in an engine. I've seen power valves just caked together. Now, chainsaws don't have power valves, so you don't have to worry about that. But you do have to worry about the ring sticking. And if it does, you lose compression. And the combustion chamber and pistons ran on castor oils in regular use is pretty bad. It's not something I would use for general use. Racing applications, sure, you tear the saw apart or tear the engine apart regularly, not a problem. Also, caster tends to separate, I think, below 40 degrees. So you have to add alcohol to it to keep it from separating. It's just a bit of a hassle to just go out and run a chainsaw, especially when it's cold. Oh, that's about it. If I get anything wrong, you guys go ahead and correct me. I'm not a scientist. I have communicated with the chemist from Silcoline. I think that's how you pronounce it. It's a French company. He gave me a lot of this information, and he talked about what things work where. Some synthetics, like Amsoil Dominator, they really have no rust inhibitors. That oil is a pure race oil. It is not meant to be a storage oil at all. Oh, one other thing here. Amsoil also has a few oils that they recommend you can run at 100 to 1. I'm going to show you a picture of an MS441 that was ran at 100 to 1 for just a tank or two of fuel. And it was tuned correctly. It's not pretty. I'll show it now. I'll block this whole thing out and show it. All right, hopefully this helped you guys make a little more of an informed decision on oils. If you want to know anything else that I can provide, let me know. For general use, Formula K2 is my recommendation. It's a pretty good value when you compare it to the cost of Steel Ultra, HP Ultra. That's actually quite expensive for how much you get. It's readily available. And make sure you realize this is just my opinion based off of what I know. Any of these oils will work. You're not going to blow an engine up right away, even using something like Walmart's, what do they call it? I forget what they call SuperTech or something like that. It just, with anything, do you want to go the extra mile? Do you want the best? Do you want to take that extra step just so you know you're doing the best you can for your equipment? All right, thanks everyone. I hope you liked the video. Until next time.